Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. Today's topic will be sketching with red. But before we begin, welcome back if you're returning and welcome if you are new to the channel. I sketch and post every day and I use timers to stay focused and to build a sketching habit. So I'll start a 10-minute timer. Feel free to use these videos as a way to build a habit. So this week the theme is a deep dive into using color. So first I'll link to, I think I did a few videos about this page right here, and I'll link to one of them. Here's from yesterday's video. I wanted to just go over for a minute where I ended up. This is about an hour after yesterday's video. It took about an hour to get this far, and I'll link to yesterday's video. I mean, I probably won't link to like every video this week. Right now I'm just gonna put these into the basic drawing because they're not really paintings, they're color studies, although there's a little bit of like painting and it helps for painting. In this one I started off with markers and then kind of went in and did all this. So today will be red. This page was sort of kind of this spontaneous thing that turned into this. So I'm just gonna make this section right here red, like where the dragon is. So yeah, I'm gonna zoom in and just kind of work on this part. And then I was thinking for the rest, like kind of down here, maybe I'll do, well, at least for like the forest area, I'll do green. And I think it'll be for tomorrow, and it'll be a kind of a good transition to the green on this area. And I'll use each of them a little bit just to see what they look like, and also to kind of show you what they look like because I'm not sure. So it's going to be basically the same as yesterday as far as like the types of pens and markers and stuff, except yeah, it'll be red, and then I'm wanting to use a little bit more just after I did yesterday. So I'm just going to use like these light color Sharpie markers, but they're like shades of red. And then just this, it's a felt tip, but like saturated red. And then I have this sort of maroon color, one of these paint markers. And then I've got these like really ultra fine line. So like I was saying yesterday, I had gone in with like a red marker and just kind of filled it in, but I'm going to do a little bit different with this one just to experiment. As far as this, I just sketched this from imagination. That was the other thing too. Yesterday I didn't have like a pencil sketch. So just to begin with, since I'm not really sure, I'm going to basically just trace over my pencil lines. And then I'm going to erase the pencil lines and just kind of start with that. Since this is supposed to be kind of not that realistic of a dragon, it's supposed to be kind of like the kind of a fairy tale look, and also the like illuminated script, or what is it called, like illuminated manuscript. So yeah, to begin with I'm just going to do this, but I did like the effect of yesterday's color study. So yeah, I'm not going to like worry too much about the detail right now until I erase. And I'm going to keep it kind of loose, which is the style of the sketch, is kind of loose. So yesterday I started with the marker, they're not highlighters, they're light be. So I don't want to rush. Definitely don't rush. And this is mostly like a Western dragon, but has elements of like Eastern dragon because of the elongated body, but it has wings. So yeah, I'm gonna be pretty loose with it. And then see what it looks like once I erase. Plus I want to see what the other colors will do. You can get kind of a dry brush effect with the markers. I think it will have spines. Now, this castle area might be, I'm gonna go ahead and outline it so I can erase it. Okay, and I'll do the border later. And yeah, I just wanted to show what the different colors are because I'm not really sure myself. I'm gonna use these markers. So just to begin with, I'll start with a light color. To begin with, I'm going to kind of figure out where I want like the highlights to be, because I had mentioned in yesterday's video, I kind of like the white of the paper, but then because you can always fill it in, but it's harder to like, you can't really erase. So for example, I might want kind of this area to have highlights right here. So it might not be a bad idea to kind of figure that out. Again, this is just an experiment. But then the rest of it would be colored in. So maybe kind of like that. And then you can also use like a finer point. So that's like the basic lighting. So that'll be like the highlights. And then once I get that, I can be kind of loose about this part. Start to color it. Again, I'm not going to use all of these today. I just want to, I mean, I will, but I'm not going to like try to detail. Now, what I might do is not work on it after this video and then save the next stage, because I didn't really show that for the previous. I did that because, well, one, sometimes I'll do that because it does take some thought, and like it doesn't make for that interesting of a video because it just, yeah, like I'm not speaking. Not to say I have to speak in a video, but you know what I mean. So this is one way to get this going. I also mentioned how with these Sharpie S notes, they have like a broad tip, and it can kind of look like dry brush a little bit, but of course they kind of react differently. So that's kind of why I wanted to test it out, because that's how the blue was acting, but that could have just been the marker itself. So now that I kind of outlined some areas where I don't want to fill it in, I'll just kind of do this. And that's also the other thing is, like, I started this page like a few months ago maybe, and I'm okay with that. That's just kind of how I'm doing stuff these days. So same with the blue sketch, is that it's nice to be able to go back and kind of see what needs to be done, and then it helps it to not be overworked, basically. So from here, I'm just gonna keep using these markers, and I'm going to start to define the dragon. I think that's kind of the main thing. So I'm gonna use like the finer point pen as a guide, and I'm just gonna do this, sort of not really outline it, but use it as a guide to add some dimensionality, and just use the highlights that I might not even use this on. I'll use this on the dragon because it'll make it stand out from the background. And when I go in with like the smaller like pens and stuff, and like the darker colors, it'll make this look a lot less obvious. That's what I've noticed, especially when I go in with like the paint marker. And then here's the third red marker, and maybe here just kind of keep this on the dragon, but like also use it as a focus so that it'll have more color variety, like in certain areas. Yep, like I won't use it on all of it. So in some ways I can use it to be like the shadow color. Now I did want to mention that I'm going to stick with like the one color and just see what that looks like. And because one thing that I liked was how, like with the blue color, how much you can actually do with just one color, keeping it monochromatic. But like maybe later in the week I'll kind of, I mean like with this page for example, I might start to blend the colors a little bit more. So the next thing I'll do is I'll use this kind of dark red or maroon kind of color, and I'm going to use it pretty sparingly. I don't want to outline everything because that's not really the look I'm going for. So I'll start to accentuate some of the dark area. now I'm not being too definitive. Basically, I don't want to have to fix anything if I don't have to. And that's just coming from the, like, I had a sketch, so I was pretty okay with it. Now, if I didn't have a sketch, kind of like yesterday, then I would be more spontaneous and kind of let the spontaneity help out with like the drawing part. But here I'm sort of, yeah, I'm just kind of going with like the pencil sketch that I had. I'm not gonna do too much with this because you can't really take this back because it's the dark color. So kind of leave it at that. And so I'm going to use this basically like the way that I used the felt tip. So I'll start with the lighter one. And here I'll start to, I won't detail it yet. I'm still going to keep it shading. But you can see that because it is like really fine point. One, it'll draw the eye just because of that, just because it's more detailed or finer point. Like it'll stand out. So just to begin with, that's what I'm gonna do with this one. But that's one way to work into the like the highlight area. Again, there's no rush, definitely. I think that that's a good way to avoid overwork. And kind of what I mean with overwork, I mean, there's sort of different ways of, not ways, but like accidentally overworking. It's one, it's like having to fix stuff is part of it. Also adding stuff that doesn't really need to be added. Like right now, like it's progressing and yeah, just kind of like moving forward. But then overwork really is where you have to go back and fix things. So I'm going to leave it at that. This would be, I can start to imply a little bit of the, but I'm going to like keep it at cross hatching because a lot of the scales is going to be implied with light and shadow without having to outline all of it. So here's just like the darker fine point. So this can give you some ideas, hopefully, for subject matter, for technique, for like color. Like that was sort of the main thing for me, was just to see the effect of the colors. And then finally we have the brush, and this one I would be kind of sparing. This could be good for like the scales. So this would be detail stuff. So that might not be a bad way to do the scales. Kind of like that. But yeah, it's pretty interesting to just use one color, so hopefully that'll give you some ideas. But yeah, I want to thank you for joining me for today's sketching routine, and hopefully you come back, and if you like these videos, please support the channel. I do appreciate it, and until next time, keep on sketching.